1 second. Bharti, you're there? Hello, Bharti?
Yeah, I'm there. The
Okay.
recording started.
Let's get started. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for taking time to join for today's sessions. I see only a couple of you are there, but nevertheless, we'll start the topic today. So last week we spoke about ego as one of the key subjects, and how ego can affect our individual ability to know self, to be in the truth, to understand the nature of truth, and what is that's pushing me down when things are happening not in my favor and all that. Today we'll go a little deeper into the same subject, but we'll also talk about how is ego getting fed. Why is that even though I understand that it is my ego that's holding me to know the truth, or become that, or have that understanding that I am the one, why is that my ego is not able to let me go? Today's topic is an important topic, because even after I have this firm understanding now, whether it is from my guru or from your own, sadhana, or your swadhyaya, or you have a deeper understanding now, or you have done your own practice, whatever maybe, or you have read the scriptures, even after all of that, we still are not able to get out of that ego. The Wi-Fi of ego is all over the place for us. Why is that? One of the main reasons we talked about it, and there are multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons that runs the ego basically is attachment, right? Attachment is the root cause of all sins. We spoke briefly on that. Whatever I am doing in the material world today, whether it is a family affair, a job, a money-making thing, or you're looking for some kind of futuristic activities, or you're looking at connecting your past to future, whatever maybe that one or two things that you're trying to do, it is because of that attachment you are pulling the strings. You are extending your own scope, you are stretching your limits, you are pulling the strings to make things happen, whether it is for your individual, or it is for your family, or it is for your greater good, whatever may be that's which is holding you up. Now, how do I come out of this? This is the question, the $1,000,000 question is, how do I come out of it? It is very easy to say that, okay, let go of your attachments. Just let go of your attachments, and your ego will start to subside, and you will have that freedom, what you're looking for. But in reality, is it even possible? In my day-to-day life, is it even possible to be in that state of being? It is not. It takes a lot of practice, lot of subtle energies or subtle understanding, which is what we call vivekam, to really be in that state of being. What happens is, you may be thinking right now in this moment, while we are discussing about it here in this class or this session, that yes, I should be able to let go of my ego. I should be able to subside my ego. I should be able to take that out, or I should be able to take the ego and put it in my heart. That way it's never coming up, and I should be able to live without ego. But when those moments come, when you are facing those situations, the incident, the events, whatever is going through, in our lives, in that moment, we will not remember, or we will just go by as if that something just passed through, and then after the fact, we'll start to realize. It is because of that attachment. What happens is we create a sin, and through that, we go into this vicious circle of everything I want, I am the one, I need it, I deserve it, I should have it, why can't I have it? We can go into any level from that point onwards. So if you really look at the teachings, right, a lot of the teachings that you talk about, um, in the Vedantic nature of it, it is very important to understand the only teaching, any Upanishad, you take any Upanishad, okay, it doesn't matter. You go and read that Upanishad, you will quickly start to understand that it is hitting your ego. Letting go of the ego is the only penance that you have to do. In this entire world, what is that one practice I need to do is letting go of your ego. It is not easy. That is why every Upanishad talks only about that aspect of ego. As long as I have ego, I have attachment, I have expectations. And with these two, I am creating sin for myself. I am creating karma for myself. You can go to any extent of talking. But if I have a way to let go of my ego in its entirety from the root, then I am enlightened. At that very moment, enlightenment comes to us. And this is what all the masters, you look at any master, I mean, not just the non-dualistic masters, you look at any grand masters, even to the highest order from our rishis, saptarshis and all that, their teaching, all of the teaching, whatever they are doing, whatever they are talking, is only one thing: letting go of your ego. And why they spoke at length about this one topic and why they did not talk about anything else, it is because of this ego I am not able to realize myself, the self that is all pervading, that self that is universal, that self that is omnipresent, that self is ever illuminating. I lost touch of it. If I am able to find a way, whether you inquire about this ego or you go track this ego, why this ego is coming my way, or you go put this ego to bed by actually being in the Vedantic, disciple, in whatever way or form, even in the yoga, you are trying to subside this ego. We all have to understand very clearly one thing: never try to work with your ego. If you try to work with your ego will go up. If you are doing anything in your life and you are thinking that I am the one doing it, then you are encouraging your ego. You are actually taking your ego to the next level. So what happens is, when I try to bring my ego in line, you will quickly start to realize that you have that calmness, that subtleness, that sweet inner peace that you have never observed. You will start to observe that. Just because your ego is starting to subside, you will start to feel so much joy, so much peace within you, that you will start to wonder why these things are happening to me, right? So if I try to sum this up, if I am not able to find a practice that will help my ego to get away, I will never be able to come out of my reality. Right now, we can talk about so many things, the reality that you are living, whatever you are living in the waking state is all a big dream. Whatever you are dreaming in the dreaming state is a small dream. We can talk about all that, but where is the reality then? It is very easy that grandmasters who have actually experienced it, or in the scriptures, they talk about this consciousness. You are consciousness. You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are consciousness. But how do I get that? How do you get that by consciousness? By letting go of ego, you get to consciousness, because it is the ego, the root of all thoughts, the root of all actions, the root of all feelings is the root ego. If I am able to find a practice, so this is the reason, even if you do your daily ritualistic process, pujas and any kind of godly activity, even those smallest of the smallest things are for this one thing, ego. You may be saying that I need this today. Inadvertently, you are saying that you are satisfying your ego. There is, a intention based practice. There is an intentionless practice, right? Intention based practice, you are developing your ego, you are raising your ego. Exact opposite way. Mind has 4 parts: mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. The main one is ahankara, which is the root of all causes. It is because of my ego I am not able to find the peace nor happiness within me. And it is because of the same ego I am trying to find the God outside. I don't understand what to practice, what not to practice. All I do is I practice whatever has been given to me by my parents or your ancestors or your family, hierarchy, or whatever you have learned from scriptures and all. You use your ego to be able to drive all that. Yes, madam, please go ahead. Who is that? Seat tag.
This is Gayatri.
Gayatri, madam. Yeah.
I have a question. Like,
Please.
for example, you are talking about ego. When Vishwamitra, he saw Vasishtha Muni, and he wants to, like, whatever he has got, I want to attain that. Is it considered as ego? In a way, that ego is also uplifting the Vishwamitra to reach the highest form of, Brahma Rishi.
You're right. It is when you start, even see, as a beginner, right? You have to understand, as a beginner, you use your ego to get to that highest level, to have that thought, that highest thought, whatever you want, the intention, right? Without that, there is nothing happening. So you have to look at it this way, right? It's not like I'm going to hold on to it. What you're asking for at some point should also dissolve in your practice, right? You are asking for enlightenment. Let's suppose you're asking for enlightenment, okay? Whether you looked at someone else, or you understood that peace and happiness comes through this, or you understood that suffering will go away, or whatever may be those 1 or 2 things that you have heard. Now you have a longing for that enlightenment. For that, what do you need? You have the intention. The intention itself is coming from ego as a start. But what happens as you slowly practice it is, slowly the ego aspect of it starts to subside. That is why choose the practice wisely. Understand what practice you are doing. Don't just go blindly and do whatever practice you want. That's the reason.
Ego is the main pillar. The bottom things are, ego is like kind of, big umbrella. Underneath you have these attachments, you have these desires. These all has, only if these bottom elements get weakened, you can even think about the enlightenment. The enlightenment is a big umbrella that is holding all these, the cause of this is this thing. So as we practice more and more meditation, slowly this, I'm having this attachment. That is why I'm having this suffering. So one by one, there are so many attachments that has to get dissolved for us to realize that, yes, I am in the process of going to think about even enlightenment.
In a way, it is right, because the vasanas, what you are talking is vasanas. The vasanas have to allow you at a point where even you are even understanding what I'm talking, right? So what happens, you go and talk to one of your buddies and you tell them that, guys, do meditation, this is a very good thing and all that. They will not get it. If they have the vasanas, if their vasanas are heavy, then it will not allow them to listen to what good you are telling them. They will not understand. They will not understand ego. They will not understand why the practice of meditation is helpful. They will not understand anything. It is because their ego is in the highest peak. When your ego is at a higher peak, it will not let you look at anything beyond that. What we are trying to get to enlightenment is beyond that ego aspect of it, right? Now, the question comes is, okay, I started off with this desire that I want to get enlightened, which is beyond the state of ego. So ego does not understand it. So what happens? And then the next thing what I do is I choose a practice that allows me to get there. Right? It is very, very essential that we have to understand that when we say practice, the practice is not like 1 day, 2 day practice. The practice is for a very long, long time. Only then a regular practice, a sincere, a deep practice will allow you to dissolve that ego within the state of being. I'm choosing my words very carefully here, because so what is happening in meditation is when I'm sitting in meditation for the first time, like let's suppose you are teaching someone meditation. What is happening there? They are coming, they are sitting, they are they really in meditation, or they just with the process, with the practice of it at the first step? When you teach someone meditation and then they come and sit, they close their eyes, are they going to be in the meditative state? Most likely no. What they are trying to do is they have the intention that, okay, this meditation gives me a lot of peace, a lot of happiness, so let me give it a try. And then you come and you bring your awareness into your breath. We always have to remember that by using my mind or my ego, I cannot annihilate my ego or my mind. Only by using something else, I have to bring my mind in line. That's why ideal meditations can only go so far. Because as long as you have a mind, you have an idol, and you are with that idol, the idol, you and the meditator, they will never become one. Because the mind is the one that's looking at. So when I bring that awareness into my breath, we have to remember this very, very carefully. When I bring my awareness into my breath, that's when my mind will automatically shrink. It will lose its power. Why? Because breath and mind come from same source, heart. So the moment I am with my breath, my awareness shifts into my breath, my mind automatically shrinks, I get into this meditative state. Is that what it is? No, it is not. Just because you are trying to get into the meditative state or you're experiencing certain metaphysical things, it doesn't mean nothing. That is not the meditation. Then you slowly, gradually go into no thought state where your breath, your mind, both are dissolved. You are at zero thought state, your breath, you no longer have the breath, the feeling of the breath. Breath is still happening, but you don't have the feel. Then what happens? Slowly, if you go deeper, little more deeper, by constant practice, you go into the standstill. That's what we call sunya, parisunya, mahaparisunya, or you call samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, all of that. Everything, whatever we are talking about, it comes from that bliss. That's what we call bliss. That is the ultimate. ultimate state in meditation. When you get to that state, there is nobody who should be telling you anymore, do meditation, come, let's sit, do meditation, we'll do for 10 minutes, we'll do for 20 minutes. Because that bliss, what you're getting in meditation, you will not find this in the material world. In this entire universe, you will not find it. So even somebody comes and tells you that I'm going to give you, $1 million or $10 million or whatever money or wealth or power or whatever it is, you will not live that bliss away. That is the power of that bliss. I mean, that is how beauty it is. So what is happening in that state? Why is that in my first state, in the second state, I don't have that feeling? Is because my mind and my ego are still acting up. They are on and off. In the first stage, I am sure to have my ego because I am not even meditating. I'm just sitting and trying to bring back my thoughts to switching between the thoughts and breath. In the second state, I got little control where my thoughts are coming down because I understood. And then I brought my awareness into the breath. That's why I've started to get some experiences, visions, whatever those are. And in the third stage, when that dissolution happens with the mind and your breath together, you get into this state of standstill. That is when you experience joy. That is when you experience ecstasy. That is where you experience bliss. All that, whatever we are talking about, why the purpose of this is all happening at that level. So if I am meditating it, I am meditating it for that purpose, right? My purpose of meditation is to allow me to get to that state. Now, what we are doing, let's talk about it. Why is that everybody is not able to reach that goal? Remember, the more you create intentions, the more you are looking at outwardly things to make it happen, the higher you are losing your energies for that purpose, for those intentions that you are putting on. So when I am putting an intention in meditation, saying that I need my health to be taken care of, or my problem to be taken care of, whatever, because of your ego or mine, what is happening is because of attachment, all that energy that you are getting in meditation is going for that one problem solving or for that health issue, whatever you're looking for. It is not giving you or letting you go to that state of bliss. The reason for that is your mind is always occupied in that problem. Your mind is always looking or expecting that I asked for this, am I going to get it? That is the reason you will never hit the state of stillness or samadhi when you have intentions. This is the reason why Buddha said you should let go of your trishna. Trishna is all desires. The root cause of all suffering is desires. It is a very, very deep subject, but I think the point that we are trying to drive home is when I am attached to something, right? That attachment is what is bringing, and we think, we all think it is a very natural thing for us to say that I want to live happily my life. If I ask the definition of happiness, we will say, I want to have a beautiful home, family, I want to have everything, I want to have a beautiful couch, I want to have AC. We think that is happiness. That happiness, whatever you are looking for, versus the happiness that you are getting in meditation, it's like, earth and sky kind of thing. It's such a huge difference. The happiness that we are talking as bliss in meditation versus the temporary happiness that you are seeking from your material life or material pleasures, right? You look at it, you eat something good today, and then you feel, yeah, I'm so happy I was able to eat it. All that is temporary. What we are talking is a permanent one. And that which can only come to us when we start to understand our ego. Right? So even if you look at it, even in the Bhakti Marga, we are in the Gnana Marga or Dhyana Marga, even in the Bhakti Marga, that ego is what is being shedded out. When a devotee goes beyond the state and he culminates with the Lord or with the entity or deity that he is looking for, what is he doing? He is letting go of his own identity. He is letting go of his own identity by becoming one with the with the with the with the deity that he is looking for, right? So in that state, as part of that surrenderness, he is losing his ego as well. And same is happening here, where you are losing your ego. The reason for that is you are not blocking your ego. You are not locking your ego. You're not holding your ego. When you have expectations, when you have attachments, when you have something that you need intentions, what these things are doing is these things are not allowing you to go deeper in your state of penance, state of stillness. When this is my natural state, when stillness is my natural state, samadhi is my natural way of living, I am already in that state of being. Why is that I don't experience it? Because my ego is letting go, and every thought that is coming out of my ego, it is asking me to do something outside. Except for going inside, we do everything else outside. As long as you are searching for that thing outside, you will never be in peace or happiness or get out of suffering. So how do I bring this into my daily practice? That's the question, right? That is the question here. Okay, now that I understand that ego, it is the ego that is making me go through all this drama, how do I let go of my ego? Do I have to let go of my ego, or do I have to balance my ego? Right? Depending upon which way you look at it, you have to, at any given point in time, understand whatever is happening to your body, to your mind, that you are only a witness. If you bring back this discussion into the meditation, when you are going into that stage 4 or stage 5 kind of thing, where you're getting into standstill, where your mind is now totally dissolved, your breath is totally, you don't have the feel, it's all dissolved. What is happening at that point? You are just witnessing. You have become a witness. You have become an observer. That's all it is. Observation is an attribute of soul. At that very moment, it happens simultaneously. At that very moment, you are a soul entity. You are no longer a body mind entity, because you lost that connection to body and mind. The moment you let go any expectations in mind or any attachments in mind. Ego and mind are used synonymously, but the point is, it is the ego. All thoughts have a root thought, and that root thought is ego, and that is in the mind, and that needs to go and not sleep actually. It should go into your heart and totally annihilate. It should die in your heart. Then you are enlightened. So if I start to bring this in a structured way to look at how my life needs to come together, I need to start to look at my ego. You have to look at your ego. You have to go inside. Practicing inner work is the most important thing. Anything that you are doing outside, you are only increasing the power of your ego. I am going and worshipping a Lord outside. What is that you are doing? Until you get that surrender state of bhakti, you are only expanding your ego. I know this, I know that, I can do this, I can do that, I am wealthy, I am this, I am that. All the drama is of your mind and ego, the duality. So when you start to puzzle this together, you will quickly understand, each of us, right? Anybody who looks at it will understand that whatever the penance or whatever the practice I'm doing, it is not helping me to go to that state of me as a being. If I have to look at this life as a drama, then I cannot take my ego for good, right? If I use my ego, then I cannot see this as a drama. I am part of it. The question is whether we are part of this life as actors or we are a director. Scriptures, grandmasters, and everyone who have experienced enlightenment are saying that you are a director. And here we are, our direct experience is showing that we are always actors. So it is very, very interesting when you start to put these things together and trying to understand what you are doing versus what needs to be done and where you are going versus where you need to be at. For instance, I don't have meditation, right? How am I going to inquire, right? Every thought that comes to you, this is what Bhagavan, Ramana Maharshi, he used to talk about it, right? You have to have the journey between I to I am. All suffering root cause is your I. Annihilate the I. Then you go to heart, right? I to I am is your journey. But how do I do that? You have to unconditionally question your mind. Every thought that comes from your mind, you should start to question, inquire about it. Why this is coming to me? What is the importance of this? What does this mean? Where does this go? Why is that I'm coming in? Who is the one that's having this intention to go this, do that? Only with subtle energies, with a deeper understanding, you will be able to start inquiring every thought that comes your way. It is not easy. And the other way is, I'm not going to worry about my mind. I'm going to use my breath to take this on, and which is what we are doing it. The easier way, taking the breath in my awareness is shifting on my breath, and automatically, given that I don't have anything in my mind, I don't have any expectations, any attachments, automatically my mind is dissolving with my breath, and both are getting stationed at my heart, at which point I experience the standstillness. Stillness is the root. Stillness is the result of meditation. What do I want from meditation? I don't want a relaxed body. I don't want a quieter mind. What I want is a stillness. I want to be in that state of samadhi where everything has become one. The experiencer, experiencing, and the result of it are becoming one. There is no identity at that point. Everything is one. That's my true identity, because that is when we say you are conscious being, you are consciousness. Even quantum physics, if you look at quantum physics, it talks about this subject as a quantum physics is probably the closest subject that is out there that is relevant and very, very close to Advaita Vedanta, non-dualistic teaching. Advaita Vedanta, whatever it talks about, all the Mahavakyas, Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, all of that, quantum physics is closer to that. Because quantum physics starts with universe is unreal. Same thing Advaita Vedanta says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaivanam. This thing is all Maya. So what happens is when you start to look at your own ego, so again, right, never get lost in the weeds of the conversations. Always try to bring the conversation to the focus point as to what I need to learn and what I need to get out of this session. Right? Each of us have to look at it. So it is the ego that is hitting us. It is the ego that is creating these attachments. It is the ego that is setting some expectations for me. I need this, I need that. Right? And it is this ego that is not letting me go into my state of being. So the practice I choose has to be to hit that ego. Either take care of the ego or dissolve the ego or annihilate the ego or make it go away, whatever it has to be with that ego. But instead, what we are doing, we are actually expanding the ego, knowingly or unknowingly. By giving it more power, by asking for more intentions, by looking for more desires, by seeking more desires, we are expanding the ego. Today, my ego is like, let's suppose 60%. When I have like another 10 desires, once my 10 desires get fulfilled, my ego goes up to 80%. What is happening? Every time you actually execute or you actually, get a desire fulfilled, your ego goes up. So what you need is your desires have to be controlled. The fundamental root cause why we are all suffering is because of desires. What you want versus what you don't want. Where do I draw the line? I don't know. Where do I draw the line? Will 50 million be enough for you to live your life? The answer is, I don't know. That's how we are. If I say you need, 500 million enough for you to live your entire life with your family, instead of saying yes, your ego will say, I don't know. Or it will go do the math. So that is the power of ego. So never underestimate the power of ego or mind. Right? They both go together. But the point is, in today's discussion, as you start to bring more alignment towards this aspect of trying to understand your own inner things, you are getting out of your suffering. How do I experience joy? How do I get ecstasy? How do I get, we spoke about it earlier, right? All of those things are possible because you are that. You don't have to try for it. You don't have to run for it. It is like, you are trying to see the sun, but a cloud is, clouding it. It's shadowing it. As long as you have this cloud, you cannot see the sun. You're thinking that sun, if sun is there, it's going to be a good thing and all, but you're not able to see that because a cloud is there. This cloud is nothing but what you have brought to yourself. The desires, the attachments, the expectations in life, all that what you have carried away. The impressions that you're holding from your past lives, all that, the whole drama, what you have brought to yourself is what is holding you up. Now, every time you question that I don't want to be in that state, I want to get away from it, but nevertheless, you are always stuck in that state. Because your practice is not to take it away. Your practice is to expand it. The more and more you do ritualistic practices, you are expanding it until you come to a point where you have started to surrender. That's why bhakti is very fundamental to the realization. Bhakti is the mother for gnana. Without bhakti, you cannot get enlightened. Because with bhakti, you learn the unconditional love. You start to love everything for the sake of that love. There is no expectations. There is no you give me, I give you. There is no transaction. There is nothing there. It is pure love. That's coming out. That is what bhakti is, right? So with that bhakti alone, you will be able to get to that. That's the reason. Even you are sitting in front of the God for 5 minutes, make sure you have that state, right? You are actually surrendering yourself. You are actually putting your ego to the God, saying that God, take away my ego. If you are not able to work on your ego, you give that ego to the God and you surrender and you don't do anything of it. You have to have the faith, otherwise you cannot be in bhakti. The faith has to be unwavering. I mean, it is like unconditional faith. No matter what is happening in our lives, your faith should not differ from the source. If that changes, then you don't have the faith. Then that's not faith. The way we live our life it's a very simple thing, right? God, I want everything in my life, but I'm not going to give my ego to you. I'm not going to give my family to you. I'm not going to give my job to you. I'm not going to give my uh, pleasures to you. I'm not going to give my daily routine activities to you. I'm still gonna have relationships. I'm still gonna keep shouting things, doing whatever material things. I'm not gonna give any of those things. I will not give my anger. I will not give my sorrow. I'll not give my fear. What kind of bhakti is that? At that point, that's not bhakti. That's transaction. That you're just sitting in front of God and you're transacting with Him, and hence he's never gonna come or he's not gonna give you that state. So coming back to the discussion, right? So it is very important that we start to realize that it is because of this ego, the mind, the aspect of it, I'm not able to reach to the state. And you cannot work with the mind to annihilate the mind. You have to find a medium. That medium, in our case, is breath. So what happens if I'm not doing meditation? Where do I go? You will go where you go, but you will come back for sure. You will not be realized. If you really start to look at it, what good of my life having the money, having the wealth, having a family, having near and dear, having beautiful house, luxurious cars, everything what I can ask for materially, I have it, but yet I don't know who I am. I can't sleep in the night. My suffering will never go away from me. I don't know what peace is all about. I'm always in anxiety. I'm running around with my life. What is good of all these things when you don't know who you are, why you are here? What is the value? What is the real purpose of you? Why you are here? So no matter how much wealth and how much of the material pleasures that you get to satisfy yourself, you will never be able to come out of your sufferings nor your the peace and happiness, because you are satisfying your ego, and ego will never ever sleep. It will come back and haunt you. The moment you satisfy one desire for the ego, today you brought a car for yourself, you started driving it. Believe me, in 6 months or 1 year, it will start to look back and say, hey, this car may be a small one. Maybe we should look for a bigger car. That is the power of ego. You don't even realize that you are in that state of wanting more, wanting more, wanting more. And that more thing is never ending until you give up your life. Until death hits you, that more will never get out. That's the power of ego. So when we start to puzzle these things together, when you have this understanding, that is why it is very, very important that we all have to listen to truth. If I don't listen to truth, what happens is I will never know what is that I need to do. Right? So if I understand about this truth, what happens is quickly you start to shift yourself. Your focus will shift from outside to inside. Your focus will quickly shift from idols and doing, all the worships and all that, to knowing yourself, who you are. And even in your meditation, you are no longer expecting things. You're no longer asking for things, no intentions. You're just doing meditation for that state of you being, the ultimate reality, the supreme reality. That is what we want, nothing less. I am that I am. I want that experience in my meditation at the ultimate state, absolute reality. That's it, period. So if I start to sum up, right, this conversation is the moment you start to realize that it is my ego that is causing all these miseries for me, you will start to look at it. The moment you start to look at it, you will figure it out. What's the best way to tackle this? The only reason why everyone in this world have not figured it out yet is because they have never gone or accepted the fact that it is their ego or their mind that is causing the miseries of the world. I'm sure even Elon Musk have suffering, right? We cannot say that he's not suffering, even though he's wealthiest guy. Same goes with Bill Gates. Same goes with any of the, Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis, whoever it is, right? Even though they have plethora of wealth and everything what they can get, at their fingertips, but yet suffering has never gone from them. The reason is they are looking for that pleasure outside, not inside. So if I minus meditation, there is absolutely no way you will understand these deeper subjects. You will never understand what spirituality is all about, why I need to know myself, what is my purpose, how I can get peace, happiness, joyful state, or whatever the the kind of standstill. Earlier we were talking about that. You will never be able to get any of that conscious state. Anything that you wanted to accomplish in this world, you have to accomplish by going your own inside, not outside, because it is the ego. If you stand right now and you're saying that I want to accomplish, I want to become a doctor, right? I want to become an engineer. What does it mean? Who is the one that's asking for that to become an engineer or a doctor? Who is the one that's saying inside you? It's my ego. As simple as that. So how far you want to take your ego? Okay, once you have done your doctors, are you going to end there? You say, no, I need to go do some MD. Again, something else. Again, something else. That thing is a continuous process. When do you say that, okay, it's enough, I am done? At what point? And that is where this understanding, this knowledge is important. Always listen to truth again and again, again and again, again and again. Spend more and more time listening to the truth. Only by listening, you are creating an opportunity for yourself to go inside. If I don't understand the true value of meditation, I will never know why I am even sitting in meditation. I am only worried about expectations all the time. I need this from meditation. I need that from meditation. That is not the reason for meditation. That's the most silliest reason. If you are expecting anything from meditation, that's a silly thing. The ultimate goal of meditation is for you to realize that you are one with the universe. At that point, you are not asking anything. You're just being in that state. That's it. So the more and more you start to embrace this kind of knowledge and this kind of understanding, it becomes more easier for you to pave way within yourself. Your mind is not gonna play too much role here, because you are asking questions that your mind cannot comprehend. It does not have a way to give you an answer. It doesn't know. So what it does, it starts to give you a way. Yeah, why don't you go and then you be with your own self and get the answers. So the more questions you ask that are your reality, that are your consciousness, that are your state, that are your being, that who you are, the happiness, the real joy, the I am aspect of it, annihilating the ego aspect of it, all of that, your mind is going to let you go to the next state, beyond the state of mind. That's the true living. And that is the only true living. When you know that you and I are same, when you know by heart that we are all same, we are all only wearing the outside, figurely shape and name, shape and forms. Other than that, we are all one, divine oneness. That's the beautiful state. That's the ultimate goal of meditation. Whether you do meditation, you go practice, inquiring, or you want to be in that state as you want to be in that state, or you go the Vedantic route where you say that, okay, I attribute it to be that. It doesn't matter. I mean, there are a lot of different masters got this in different ways. Ramana Maharshi, even though he got it in the yogic way, he was teaching the inquiry. Inquire. Nisargadatta Maharaj, right? He actually said, I am that I am. That's it. I always have that feeling that I am that I am. And only with that feeling, keeping that firm in his mind for a long, long time, for more than a year, he got enlightened. He got that experience of I am that I am. Of course, Patriji, Patanjali, and other great Buddha and other yogis got it through meditation. Whatever may be the channel that you use, but use it for that purpose alone. That's the if there is one thing that you want to take home today on this session, that is the one thing that you want to take home. No matter what you do, it is for that purpose that you do it, not for these material gains and not for your physical health or all that. Those things will come and go. Go ahead, man.
Ramana Maharshi, before renouncing,
Mm-hmm.
when the father died, he got an experience that
Mm-hmm.
he was separated himself from the body.
Yeah.
And then he saw himself looking at the body, and then he started questioning, if this is the body, then who am I?
Correct.
That is where that experience has happened for him, that made him renounce everything and get out of the house. But to me, I can only talk about myself. I'm being like realizing that in the meditation, I'm realizing that my suffering is only due to my desires, my uh, expectations, frustrations. Because of my desires, I get these frustrations, the hatredness, hurting, anger. I don't even realize that this is all my ego. That is my state.
So you said right? The near-death experience, what Bhagavan got at the time, for him, that was a realization moment. And after that, it never left him. And then ultimately, he became what he became. But the point is, when it happened to him, right, he started teaching. Right? When he started teaching it, he started teaching this direct method. His method is called direct method. Even though he did a lot of meditation for himself to get to that state, but once he came out of that state, once he started teaching, his teachings were on the inquiry. Inquire, who am I? Right? That is his teaching. He says that's a direct method. When you have a thought that comes to you, and you take that thought in, and then you do what you need to do, whether the feeling or the action, whatever it is, then you're only increasing the thought power. His point was, if that thought, when it comes to you, you start to inquire, to whom did this thought came from? Then quickly you say, it came to me. Then who is this me? Right? That is nothing but your ego. And then when you ask that question, you go into that inner silence. And for every thought, he said, patiently keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. At one point, your mind will stop getting any thoughts. That is the standstill. That's what his teaching was, which is a very fastest way to get there, but you need very subtle energies. You need subtle intelligence to be able to observe your own mind with every thought that's coming in. Even though you are in the waking state, you are doing a lot of things, so that's why you need to be very, very deep in your practice and all that. Otherwise you won't be able to catch hold of your thoughts and then question them and then take it back to home and just be there like that. Now, in our cases, what happens is, I know, each of us know, that it is my desires that's taking me away. It is my attachments that's causing this misery. It is my expectations of my life, right? I want unduly expectations. That's making my life suffer. Am I see the way scriptures are talking is, accept your life as it is, because you are living in a dream state. How many of us agree to that? You need a lot of faith, right? Lot of belief system. You need to have a very, very solid belief system within you to say that if my guru is telling me or my scriptures are telling me that this is the reality, then I will leave it that way. That's my code of ethics, right? I live by that. How many of us are able to do it? Not many. Most of us shudder. In that moment, you may say, yes, I need to be like that. But then 10 moments, 11th moment, 12th moment, or 100th moment, you will shudder. Because I am not there yet. Because my mind is not pure yet. I have not taken that inside of me. It is here somewhere, but it's not gone inside of me. It has to come from your inside. Whatever you're practicing, whatever you're understanding, whatever is your state of being, all of that should come from your inside. When it comes from inside, it sticks. It will never go away. It's like an experience, when you have tasted something, like ice cream, you have tasted it. Even though you tasted your ice cream in a childhood, even if I ask you now, you still can go back into that state, when you are eating ice cream, how was it? That's because it's inside of me now. That experiences, I became that when I was enjoying that ice cream. But I cannot do that for everything, right? When I need to go to work, or something came my way, and then suddenly I cannot say I'm conscious being. I don't need to worry about it. This will go away. It is not going to go away. It's gonna be there. So it is that balance. We need to understand how far I need to be attached. There are certain things that you have to be attached for you to run your life. Do sleeping, eating. If you cannot say I'm not going to eat, right? Like you're drinking water. There are things that you should be expecting in your life, like to the point where you see that, okay, as long as I have these things, the basic necessities, I am fine with it. But where is the line I'm drawing? There is no line. I'm like earlier we were talking about even 500 millions. I'm not able to say that, okay, I'm good. I'm saying, I don't know. Let me think. Will that be enough? Let me do a math. Why is all that drama? Because of my ego. Because the second thing that is more important in this topic is, I never worked on my ego. I always played with my ego. I always figured out how to expand my ego, but I never worked on my ego to say that you are a problem, I need to fix you. How many of us are expecting that our mind is our enemy? How many of us even accept that your mind is your enemy? We don't. Because everything what we are doing is with my mind, but yet your mind is your biggest enemy. All enemies are only inside of you. There is no enemy outside. The outside enemy is coming because of your inside enemy, which is your ego. You let go of your ego, you will not see the enemy. It is simple than done, but it's easier said than done. But the point is, as you start to go inside and you tap onto this ego, asking these questions, you are now allowing yourself to go into that state, that calm state, that balanced state, that peace, that happiness, no suffering state. You are actually getting into that. You'll start to experience it. Only that experience will help you to go deeper. Right? Nobody can give us enlightenment by talking. Even Krishna cannot give by talking about enlightenment, right? You have to get your own enlightenment. You have your awakening, your ascension, your realization, your liberation has to be your own way, in your own terms. But the one thing we all do not have is time. Time is the one thing that is against us. So for today, let's stop here on the topic, right? So I think if you have any questions, I'll take for one or two questions, and then we'll get into meditation. Any questions? All right, no questions. Then let's sit in meditation, my dear masters. Let us sit comfortably in our best postures. Take off our glasses. Now again, let us not look for any expectations. Let us not have any intentions. Just sit in meditation. Bring your awareness, bring your focus or attention to your breath. That's all we have to do. Initially, we have to be in meditation, then slowly meditation will happen, and eventually you become that, what you're looking for. Slowly and steadily bring your attention to your normal, natural, soft, tender, tranquil, wonderful, and beautiful breath. The breath that keeps us in line. That breath that always brings us into the present moment. Breath is always present, my dear friends. So the bundle of thoughts, when you bring your awareness or attention to your breath, you are always in the present moment. Let us enjoy that gift. Yesterday is a mystery. Yesterday is a history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. Be with your breath, my dear masters. Be with your breath. Be with your breath. Nothing else should matter. Just be with your breath.
పంచా ఫోన్ ఉంది ఆన్లో మాట్లాడితే
Last 1 minute, my dear masters. Last 1 minute. Be with your breath. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Please slowly take your hands and put it on your eyes. And gently, whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes and look at your palms. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, masters. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. Let us all thank the masters, universe, and the energies we received today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, anyone would like to share experience or any questions, please go ahead. No questions, then we'll call it a night. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye. Good morning.